Enlightened Poetry by WALTHARI, 2017. From the book called The Prophet, written in April. Itzatsa, ocean in the Basque language. The glass colours of the narrowing clap the dream it has to conquer the shore. It bleeds its foam salt blood across the white and black rocks, stone cold but warm enough for iodine-rich swathes to grow beneath the mirrored surface. Green, grey, and a multitude of white, many arms of red and green, the wonder we call the seaweed. The birds skim the great cool grey, speaking of their need as they do, and out of the element comes a bounty enough for them and you. Sailors know its instincts to overwhelm a man. They are knowing of the immensity, the power of eternity, the sword swoop of the wave that only he can save thee from, amongst the tremendous wave. There is no other embrace as strong as the ravages of its fish-strung arms, the house of lunacy. Neptune's plot, ruled by water and the trident, following the moon wherever she goes. Rua iluna datanza, chuchuras. Dark water, dancing spoons in the Basque language. I dipped in and out of beauty like fingers in warm water. In a great salt sea hanging off the rainbow quartz edge, I looked into the dark water, but I was not there inside her face. I did not want to see myself, it would spoil her beauty. I did question whether I was there at all, or just a thought in a great mind. Maybe I am just that, maybe you are too. I hung my heavy head, dripping in auburn hair, and twilight sweat dressed with stars, to see the hope laying on the ground, feeble and without peace. I stumbled my bare feet over copper sand and blue-green weed. Vomited by the sea, she drew back, away from her lover, fearful of taking over the land and scaring the rocks away. I swam through the unadulterated air, like a fish with bird wings dreaming of the stars burning bright in their existence, blue and yellow and indigo. The crying seagulls and the mother stork travelled with me across the amber strand, stained like windows of old churches, with a myriad of greens and blues, mirrors of life from the sky. The sea, green and grey, the colour glace. I took salt oxygen into my peaceful lungs and exhaled all the hurt given to me by humans, unaccustomed to the sea and her mood. Fidea eta oemina, faith and understanding in Basque. Fidea eta oemina is the test of the great God. A child is born with faith, he knows he must want to grow. She knows she must understand. Faith is so strong in the young until life chips away what they want to believe, whether it be a fairy tale or perfection, or a father greater than their own. Fidea eta oemina is the cornerstone of beauty, but one cannot live without the other. Faith is dangerous when there is no understanding, and misunderstanding is faithless. There is no one true faith anymore, not with a name anyway, but in the understanding that your heart knows that there is a plan and a peaceful truth. But the heart often cannot use the mouth, and does not speak well. Not many people can speak upon these things as I have learned to do, still imperfect but gaining more truth every day. When a person has fidea eta oemina, they know, even with eloquent speech the world does not. Faith is simple, understanding is complex. People either like one or the other. This is ignorant and is lazy or full of ego. To know some truth shouts like ego, but speaks quietly like God. I adore the Spirit in me. I do not adore my body, frail, and imperfect and unenduring. I do not even like my mind, only when my heart tells it to speak. Visit Zaran Zenzua, the meaning of life in Basque. Visit Zaran Zenzua, the meaning of life. What do you think it is? To work, to play, to earn, to save, to breathe, to create, to worship, to war, to make oneself great. None of these things even have a meaning, so are not the meaning of life. To understand what the meaning of life is, ask the question, what is life? Life is a process, or many processes, that must work in order and simultaneously to perpetuate breath, heartbeat, blood flow. There is more to living than most know about. Seeing as our cells are too small for us to see daily, we see the eyes, we see we bleed when we are injured, we feel our pulses rise when we are in love, we get cold when we have no shelter. This isn't even living, this is our body surviving. The trauma of life. Life is in the mind. What we choose to do in our minds defines our lives. What we think of makes the blood increase in our veins. A sad thought may cause our eyes to leak. So what is the meaning of life? Now we know what life is and the difference between living and life. One a process, the other surviving. The meaning of life is to accept all things, whether good or bad, and love them the same. They will become the same if you treat them equally. The meaning of life is to try with all your heart, your mind and your soul to live beautifully, peacefully, honestly, and without any ambition. To teach is not to speak, it is example, and accepting we never stop learning. The meaning of life is to one day die. Death is the great birth, not an end at all. So the meaning of life is what? This earthly life is our infancy, simply to learn the truth of things, so that one day we will meet our Maker, who has no plans for you except for you to know bliss. You must learn these things. The meaning of life is not a question easily answered, and if answered is so complex, it is rarely accepted. Acceptance is faith and love and destiny. Be peaceful in your meaning, so that life may have a meaning greater than these words. So dull on this page, maybe if I wrote it in starlight, the world would pay attention. But I am stardust, writing on a paper that once was a tree that gave you your breath. How magical do you want it? Except beauty is the man-made magic, and the meaning behind his beauty is to praise the life. The gypsy. There is cooking wherever the gypsy goes. There is music wherever the gypsy goes. There is always laughter, and there is always teaching. To know is to be true gypsy, no matter where you're from. The blood speaks of lifetimes of walking, and the eyes see the chaos and make order of it. But no one ever likes a gypsy, and a gypsy knows this too. Shalom Aleichem, said the gypsy knocking on the moonlit door. Let's be friends and never have to war. Peace is something I truly adore.